I am Jenna and grew up in a household where I felt neglected. My parents, Sheena and George's attention were fixated on my older and younger brothers. They always made me feel that I am nothing but a shadow in the world, as if I didn't exist in the first place. I always wanted to be part of them, to let them know that I exist, because even though we are living in the same place, I never felt their love and appreciation towards me. To them, I was nothing but a decoration. From the earliest days of my childhood, the scales of favouritism were tipped heavily in my older brother Francis's direction. Yes, even though I still have a baby brother, it felt unfair because all their attention was towards Francis. To them, he was the golden child, the best they have, and they never fail to remind me that I am nothing but a mistake. You heard that right. My parents would blatantly and unashamedly shout into my face that they never planned on having me. They never expected me. That's why they weren't ready. And the worst thing is, my mother would blame me for all of her frustrations. She was about to grab a great opportunity at work when she unexpectedly conceived me. She was forced to withdraw her application for that promotion because she had to file for maternity leave. And every time she would nag and scold me, she would never forget to mention how much she loathed me for coming into her life. "You ruined my career. I wish you were never born. Our life with your brother would have been better without you." Tears would fall down my cheeks. Her words really pained me, even if I heard those lines multiple times already. It's not my fault, Mum." She scoffed and rolled her eyes. "Ha! Not your fault. Are you really sure about that? It was you who hindered me from achieving my goals and dreams. You ruined it for me." I bawled my eyes out as I felt her hurtful words piercing into my heart. I just wanted you to love me like the way you love my brothers." She went near me and grabbed my chin. "What did you say? Are you demanding? You should have been thankful that I am still treating you like a daughter after all the frustrations that you put me in." I couldn't stop myself from crying my heart out. I couldn't believe that my mother would dare to say those words to me, right in front of me. She left me in that place, but her words remained in my heart forever. It caused me trauma upon trauma. I know that by the day she knew about expecting me, I also knew that it is where all her issues and hatred towards me began. It stems from there and it branches out. And now she completely hates me for everything that I do, even if I was achieving better things more than their beloved Francis. I was a student leader, consistent honors student, and a talented singer. They have never appreciated even the tiny good things that I do. And do you know what makes life even more unfair? My mother and father appreciates Francis for doing just the bare minimum. Sometimes he was called to the school principal's office for a disciplinary action for a major offence that he committed inside the school premise, and instead of scolding him, my parents would just let it slide as if he did nothing wrong. While me, even if I just forgot to wash a single spoon left on the sink, they would throw insults at me. They would call me worthless, lazy, and even a mistake, and that word really cuts deep. My parents believed him to be the embodiment of success, showering him with praise and privileges while turning a blind eye to his bullying and manipulation of me. And yes, again, you heard it right, Francis bullied me all throughout my childhood. He would do everything just to make me feel awful and less of myself. He would embarrass me in front of everyone, and he would always make fun of me. Every day at school, he would gather his friends and make them bully me as well. Well, look who decided to show up. It's our resident loser, Jenna. He called me out, and all eyes were on me. His friends even laughed at me. "I really can't believe that she is your sister, Francis," his friend said while looking at me, while his other friend laughed by the statement. "I know, right? She's a loser and an ugly duckling." They cheered and laughed while high-fiving each other. I tried my best to ignore him, but I couldn't just let this slide, so I approached and talked to him. "Francis, can you please just leave me alone?" He rolled his eyes and mimicked my voice in a mocking and belittling way. "Leave me alone! That's all you ever say, isn't it? You're such a buzzkill!" His friends laughed so hard, and they even said words that I couldn't even understand, so I clenched my fists, staying determined. "I don't have time for this, Francis." He just looked at me and smirked. "Oh, come on, Jenna. Don't be so uptight. Maybe if you weren't such a bore, you'd actually have friends, right, boys?" Nah. I would never be her friend. It would be such a major downgrade." They laughed again. Their voices were like insults, and I couldn't control myself from crying, but I tried my best. I fought back my tears. "Can you just stop, please?" He leaned towards me, taunting. "Oh, is the little crybaby gonna stop whining now?" His friends laughed again and followed him, mocking me endlessly. "You're such a jerk, Francis." I could hear my voice trembling. "And you're such a pushover. No wonder nobody wants to be around you. I don't know how you enjoy making me feel awful." I just wanted to go home and lock myself in my room. All eyes were on me, and I couldn't bear the embarrassment anymore. "It's not my fault you're an easy target. You practically beg for it with how pathetic you are. You're such a loser, weak, and dumb, ugly girl. Can you just find someone else to bother? I'm your sister. Please spare me." He just flashed at me the most ridiculous smirk. "Oh, I can tell. You're never in the mood for anything fun, are you?" I just heaved a sigh. There was no point in fighting with him, so I turned away and wiped my tears. "You win, Francis. Happy now?" He chuckled out of satisfaction. "Of course I am. I always win, don't I?" I decided to walk away, completely defeated. "Yeah, you do. Congratulations." I tried my best to ignore all of Francis's banter and bullying at school. I just focused on my studies and dreams. On the other hand, I suffered even more emotional distress from my parents. The unfairness has already loomed and surrounded my heart, because despite my efforts to earn their approval, I was overshadowed by Francis's charisma and their skewed perception of him. My parents knew how bad his attitude was, but they still protected him like their favourite son. As we grew older, Francis's arrogance swelled. He revelled in the adoration, exploiting his privileges to get his way in everything. When we were in college, I did everything to make my parents proud, but I never heard a single congratulations from them. I am purely nobody, a middle child who is unwanted and neglected. Francis, on the other hand, did not do good in college. He would often cut classes. He has multiple failing grades and even has dropped subjects. And most of the time, he was busy going out with his girlfriend. My parents' vision of him becoming an engineer was so beautiful, but he just wasted it. Meanwhile, I thrived in my accountancy program, excelling in everything that I do. When word spread that his girlfriend was expecting a child during their college years, his irresponsible actions spoke volumes. People talked about it, and they were a hot topic in school. And as a college student, he was not financially capable yet. So, abandoning his studies, he leaned heavily on our parents' financial support, a lifeline they reluctantly threw to him. Without a job or any real sense of responsibility, he relied on them to provide for his growing family. But still, my parents didn't scold, nor were they disappointed with him. They just accepted it and welcomed him back. Their double standards are insane. But the burden of their expectations fell heavily on my shoulders. As I entered the workforce and began earning a commendable 6-digit income as a senior licensed accountant at a multi-million-dollar bank company, my parents demanded that I should contribute a significant portion to support Francis's family. Of course, I reasoned out because a large percentage of my salary would go to them, or worst case, almost all of it was given to them. I didn't have the pleasure nor the autonomy to control my own hard-earned money. I could still remember how they gaslighted me into providing for my brother. They didn't even respect my choice. "Jenna, come sit down. We need to discuss something important." I was so nervous because the tone of my mother's voice was so serious. "All right, Mum, what is it?" "I think you are not blind and you have seen that your brother Francis is facing financial difficulties again. We've decided that you'll be the one to help him out." I was so confused to what they were trying to say. "Wait, what? Why me?" "Well, dear, you've always been the responsible one, and it seems like you have a good salary. It's only fair that you step up and support him." Her tone was somewhat condescending. "But Mum, I have my own life to live. I've been working hard to build my own future." In fact, I was too scared to say those words, but I mustered the courage to say it. "Oh, don't be so selfish. Family takes care of family. It's your duty to help your brother in this time of need. What would happen to him? And the baby? It's your nephew." My father gaslighted me. I was so confused and I didn't know what to do. I'm so nervous because if I refuse, maybe they would hurt me again. "I understand that, Mum and Dad, but I have my own dreams too. I can't just put everything on hold." My mum scoffed and rolled her eyes at me and responded sarcastically, "Oh, listen to Miss Ambitious now. Just because you have a job, you think you're too good to help your own flesh and blood." "No, it's not like that. I just wish you'd consider my feelings and aspirations too." My father slammed the table and faced me angrily. "You're being ungrateful, Jenna. We raised you, provided for you, and now you can't even do this one thing for your brother." Tears started to form in my eyes. "It's not that I don't want to help, but you're not even trying to understand where I'm coming from." My mum smirked. "Oh, we understand perfectly well. You've just been selfish and stubborn." "I'm not being selfish. I'm just trying to have a say in my own life." "You will do as we say, Jenna. End of discussion." I could feel that I don't really have my own right to decide for my life, and it is so suffocating. So I heaved a sigh and accepted it. "Fine, I'll do it. But I hope you realise the toll this is taking on me." "Oh, please, stop being so melodramatic. We're doing this for the family's sake." For the family's sake, right, I whispered to myself. It was a heart-wrenching reality, watching my hard-earned money disappear into the abyss of my brother's entitlement, while he continued to belittle and mistreat me at every turn. My resolve, however, remained unbroken. Rooted in humility and a strong work ethic, I pressed on. I became even more determined to work hard. But what pains me is that despite everything that I am doing, my family would still belittle me. But still, while my parents and Francis revel in their distorted reality, I bore the weight of their expectations, determined to provide for a family that never seemed to fully appreciate my efforts. Yet, even in the face of this tangled web of dysfunction, I clung to my empathy and understanding, choosing to believe that perhaps their misguided actions were a result of their own struggles. But the facade could only hold for so long. The shocking revelation about Francis and his girlfriend shattered the illusion my parents had nurtured. A friend of mine told me that my brother and his girlfriend were seen frequently at a local casino. And then I discovered that the money that had been funneled into their lives to support their family was being squandered on gambling. And they had even gone so far as to lease our family home to feed their addiction. It was all my blood, sweat and tears that they put to waste. The betrayal cut deep, slicing through years of frustration and pent-up anger. Armed with evidence, I confronted my parents and brother. Their denials and attempts to deflect blame only fueled my determination to bring their wrongdoings to light. I severed the financial lifeline, forcing them to face the consequences of their choices. My parents knew about this, and they even tolerated him. So I mustered the courage to talk back to them and declared that I am finally cutting them off from my life. I am done. They even tried to make me stay because they don't know how to pay for the balances. But I had enough. Their cruelty is over. Jana, please. I'm begging you. I know I messed up, but I'm truly sorry. Can't we just put this behind us? Sorry, Francis. It's too late for that now. You had your chance to make things right, and you chose to gamble away our trust instead. I'll do anything you want, Jana. I'll make amends. I'll change. I promise. Just help me with my debts. You should have thought about that before you put our family's home and all my efforts at risk. Your actions have consequences, and I can't just sweep them under the rug. But think about Mum and Dad. They're devastated. They need our support. Funny how you suddenly care about their feelings when it's your actions that caused this mess. I have done my part in this family, and you all took advantage of it. Please, Jana, I'm your brother. Remember all the good times we had growing up. Don't let this ruin us. This isn't about our past, Francis. It's about accountability. You need to face the consequences for your choices. I'll do anything, I swear. Just give me another chance. It's too late, Francis. The damage is done, and now it's my turn to take control. What do you mean? I'm not going to let you manipulate your way out of this one. You belittled me, taken advantage of me, and now you'll finally know how it feels. Jana, what are you planning? You'll find out soon enough. Just know that you brought this on yourself. The cries for mercy were harsh and desperate, a stark contrast to the arrogance they had displayed for so long. But this time, I remained steadfast. The innocent, the unborn child would not be left to suffer the consequences. And so my revenge was a bittersweet symphony. A blend of justice and vindication, a reclaiming of my dignity and voice. I exposed to everyone what my parents and brother did to me, and I gained sympathy from the people. As the truth unfolded, their world crumbled around them. Regret and remorse etched themselves into their faces, a stark reminder of the pain they had inflicted on me for years. With their arrogance exposed and their pride shattered, I finally stood tall, free from the suffocating shadow of their favoritism and cruelty. The echoes of their pleas for forgiveness reverberated, mingling with the shards of their shattered illusions. In that moment, I realized the depth of the transformation that had taken place within me. No longer would I be defined by their unfair treatment, by their manipulations and their cruelty. I had broken free from the chains that had bound me for so long, emerging stronger and more resolute than ever. In the aftermath, my actions were fueled by a sense of justice that extended beyond just my own vindication. I ensured that the baby, innocent in this tangled mess, received the care and support they needed. My empathy and compassion prevailed even amidst the storm of my revenge. I refused to perpetrate the cycle of hurt that had plagued my family for years. As days turned into weeks, the weight of their own mistakes bore down on my parents and Francis. The truth, once buried beneath layers of deception, had a way of unravelling even the most carefully crafted facades. It was a humbling reckoning for them, an opportunity to face the consequences of their choices and reflect on the pain they had inflicted on me. Though my revenge was indeed sweet, it was not driven solely by a desire to humiliate or tear them down. Rather, it was a powerful assertion of my own worth and an unshakable declaration that I would no longer stand in the shadow of their cruelty. The story of my transformation, from the oppressed to the empowered, became an inspiration, a testament to the strength that comes from standing up to adversity. In the end, the narrative shifted dramatically. No longer was Francis the favoured son whose arrogance was indulged. No longer were my parents able to ignore the injustices they had perpetrated. The revelation marked a turning point, not just for them, but for me as well. It was a story of redemption and resilience, a tale that reminded me of the strength I possessed all along. And so, as I looked back on that journey, filled with pain, betrayal, and ultimately triumph, I found solace in the knowledge that I had risen above it all. The revenge was a means to an end, a way to shatter the chains that had held me captive for so long. But the true victory lay in the transformation that had taken place within me, an unbreakable spirit that would no longer be silenced or overshadowed by the arrogance of others. If you were Jana, would you cut off toxic family members and regain control of your life? Let us know in the comments.